One of the most harmful religious teachings is the idea that you need saved. See, you don't need saved. Only the ego mind identity, your false character, can be convinced that it needs saved. But you're not your ego. You're not your thoughts. You're not your body. And you're not your experiences. You're a divine fractal of God. You are infinite awareness. And you contain everything. Everything exists within your consciousness. So the idea that infinite awareness, an energy being, needs saved is ridiculous. See, it's only the human character, your full self, that can ever be convinced that it needs saved, because the ego thinks it's separate from everything. But you're not separate from anything. See, the seer, what is seen, and the act of seeing are all one thing. Nothing is separate from you. So, relax and understand that you don't need save. See, original sin is a false doctrine created by the Catholic Church to control people, right? To disempower people, to make people think that God is separate from them and they have to bow on their hands and knees and pray to some God in the sky for forgiveness and all this other nonsense to make it into heaven. It was created to make you think God is separate from you, but God lives in you. You are the creator. And when I say you are the creator, again, I'm talking about the real you, which is the I am, infinite awareness. And at your core, your love, power, and wisdom. So, understand there's nobody that needs saved because you're not your character. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Matthew 7:13-14, where it talks about enter through the narrow gate. Go down the narrow road. Because the wide gate, the wide road, leads to destruction, right? And the wide road is Catholicism, Christian fundamentalism, materialism. See, these are one of the many wide roads that lead to destruction. Everybody, right, is a Christian fundamentalist. Everybody is obsessed with materialism. And these roads lead to destruction. See, anybody can get saved because it's easy, right? But the real spiritual path, it requires you to surrender, right? It requires you to let go of your ego. It requires you to embody Christ consciousness. It requires you to be still and know I am God. Meditate. See, self-realization is challenging. You go through many dark nights of the soul, ego deaths, shadow work, right? This is challenging. But getting saved is easy, so it's more appealing to the ego. And this is the wide road that leads to destruction. See, meditation requires a certain amount of discipline. The real spiritual path requires discipline. It's more challenging, but it's much more rewarding. So, choose the narrow road. But everything is divine, so even if you choose the wide road, that will eventually lead you to the narrow road, because you'll get so caught up in the matrix. You'll get so tired of getting beat down time after time. You'll eventually, whether it be in this life or another life, start to go down the narrow road. That's what happened to me, right? I went down the wide road for a large portion of my life and got so miserable, right? I got so wrapped up in the matrix. I got so miserable that I said, all right, fuck that. And then I started to go down the real spiritual path once I surrendered to God, once my ego surrendered to God and allowed Him to lead me. And when I say Him, right, it's really me. It's really you. There's no separation. Again, the seer, what is seen, and the act of seeing is all one thing. So let go of the idea of God as something outside of you. There's nothing outside of you. And remember, you don't need saved. They programmed your subconscious to make you believe you need saved. See, before I was taken to church, I believed I was whole and complete until I was taught that I wasn't, that I was some defective sinner that deserved to burn in hell, right? But before that, I was aligned with the truth that I am whole and complete. Now the ego, right? The ego has its desires. It has its low frequency desires and all these things. But see, that's perfect too. It's supposed to be that way. That's why you created this third dimensional experience. So never forget you're whole and you're complete. And you don't need save. Only victims need save. And you're not a victim. You're the creator. And again, at your core, your love, power, and wisdom. Go grab this book, Creation is Finished, by Pete Sapper, and get in touch with the truth. Peace out, y'all. Much love.